Welcome back to another video. So, when I say I'm obsessed with just finding new tools that gives me the ability to optimize my business, I am obsessed. So, I've been trying to find a system that helps me to really do a workflow mapping. Of course, I've found several. There's Miro, there's Milano, there's all of the things, but what they've all failed to do is really allow me to link everything in the way that I want to, when it comes to like my emails and different notes that I found to be very useful. So this system is called FlowOps, and from what I'm understanding, this is a newer system that has been made, and it's a basic system that I want to kind of show you guys what they've showed me in terms of how it works. So there is an entire visual mapping that you can create. There's instant SOP creation as well, and there's AI features because everything has AI, and you can also share and collaborate with other people. So, based on this, you actually have the ability to create your workflow. You also have the ability to see all of the canvases and processes that they have that you can choose from. And then, obviously, the canvas itself is where you're going to build all the juicy stuff. But you have multiple views that kind of create this ecosystem. And you can obviously export and share it in a PDF or another version that I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to try to. But it's definitely cool. Let's play around with this. My biggest thing is on the left menu, it's very simple. I'm a simple girl. So there are three different plans. The first plan is free. On that free plan, you have three workflows. And then on the pro plan, you have unlimited workflows. You have all the views because here you get limited views. You get to share, you get the PDF export, the version history, and AI fills for 10. The Pro, which I'm on, you have everything on this plan. You can also collaboratively communicate with the people you share it with. You also have an AI workflow generation and the AI fill feature, which gives you 90 more than you had here and priority support. What I love as well is the simple fact that I can always click the dashboard, and the dashboard takes me to see where all of my canvases are. I also love the fact that I can see that they're in drafts and they are currently making updates as well. So they say that if you submit a feature, you can get that feature possibly. The workflows itself are very intuitive. I do like that you can rename from here, and then you can also categorize it from here as well. Categorizing means that you can set the status, add a client. So me as a person who supports so many different people, I can say that this is for brand number one. You can also put it to like a sales or a work, like just any department that you're working on. And then if it's a certain project that you're working on as well, you can add that too. So when you do that, it updates the folder automatically. And if you create a new workflow, this is the pop-up that comes up. You also have the ability to use some of their templates. You can build it from blank. And on the actual team view, you can generate with AI. With this generation, you can simply click from an example prompt and then submit it. And once you submit it, it generates that in a few seconds so that you could be able to see what that visual will look like. So you can see all of the different connections, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I love this so far, but here is the gap that I feel like it fills for me is because it also from the nodes creates the different documents. So these documents are more so, of course, your detailed items that you have, but you can add, and I'm going to jump all into this once we get there, but you can add all of the details, meaning the owners, the tool, the department, the timing, the tags. You can also do the content, which is literally all the communication, the videos and things like that, checklist items and comments. And then don't let me forget about this AI fill button because not only does it help to fill the description, but it also helps to create the checklist items. So you can see that in the tabs, and then you can obviously add comments accordingly. I love it so far. The checklist items also work very well, so you can check these off. Now, the use case in my mind for this is just for you to kind of be like, okay, yeah, these things are done. And you can obviously still peek into them as you are going through the process. So let's say in real time, you came here and you're like, darn, I don't remember how to do this. And you came and you're like, okay, I could start the pipeline, create the brief. Okay, I've done that. So in real time, you're able to check off the process as you're going through the process. It's amazing. And then lanes sold me because when I need to segregate who does what and when, I have the ability to see exactly what department they're in. So if it's in marketing, I can say, oh, the marketing team has to do this, or oh, the marketing team actually does this. And it tells you what lane they are. The two lanes that do not get assigned is obviously the start and the end, but you can add a department if you feel like that's something like if operations is the person that starts, then you can add that and in real time it updates as well. Oh, fantastic. But let's say that I wanted to undo, maybe I can undo in real time too. There is also a version history that you can see. And from my understanding, I believe they say that this saves every 5 minutes. So you can see that you can restore the last version history that was last saved. So if I make a muck of it, it can fix itself. I do like as well that I can see all of the SOPs. Like if there was a document and all the things in here, I can see them. And of course, I can tag. It's just fantastic. Now, I wanted to do this in real time where I kind of created a sample process. Now I'm going to be using this for all my processes because it just makes sense. But let's go ahead and create from the node section a starting process. So you just drag, oh, let's go from the map. You drag from the map and drop. And when you do, you have the ability to update it. So let's say in my real process right now, everyone starts with a discovery call, if I can spell it. So with the discovery call, that is the starting point. Of course, I can describe it, and I'm again trying to figure out how best I want to word things because I don't want to overword. But let's say that my discovery call, the first connection, simple. Because when I'm looking at this, I just need to see what I see and not think too much. Who owns it? Honestly, it's the user, or I could say the prospect, right? And then with that, I could say what tool it is in and it pops up here as well. And I think that's really all that I need to see because I don't want to really see a lot at a glance. And the department, really and truly, this is sales because at the end of the day, it is a sales process. And I don't need to add a tag, but if I wanted to, let's just put sales here, right? So I'm just adding a tag. It doesn't visually show here, but I can put a timestamp on here if I wanted to. I don't have a timestamp, so if I put like 1 day, it'll show up that way, things of that nature. The context for this, I honestly would add just a link because I do think the link makes sense. So if I add the link here, it will just keep the link in the place that I need it to be. And so I'm just going to store that bad boy there so I know that's the link. I'm not going to add the email that goes out with this because I do want to add that as a communication later, but I could also add an actual picture of what it looks like when someone actually fills out the form because I think that would be useful for me when I'm doing this. And so let me just do that. Let me add a screenshot and I'm going to, where is my screenshot? There we go. Oops. I'm going to add that screenshot later. And again, they're tweaking this. So everything that you see, please keep in mind that they're working on it. I love the fact that I could also see the preview of the actual upload because maybe at a glance, I just need to know exactly what this looks like, right? And so I can open it in full size as well, which is really cool. And then I can always go back to the space that I was in. But the greatest thing as well is that I can name it, right? So this is just one of the obvious things that I can do, but maybe I want to see what it looks like from a full perspective. So let me actually add another screenshot. Hold on. And let me put also this screenshot of what it looks like when they actually register. So I can say, um, maybe I could say scheduling call pre-assessment details. And so that gives me all the information I need so far. And it shows me as well that there's 3 different content attachments. Now you can also add a video if you wanted to, and that video would also be a pasted space. I like to use Komodo, so you could be able to do that. You can add a note if you wanted to as well, which gives you the ability to simply just add information. And then you have checklist items that you can add as well. So for me, a checklist item that I would want to do at this stage is review submission, right? And so I can add it here, but this is just one space so far. So let's say now that the other node that I want to add in is going to be a decision. And so with the decision, well, I guess it's not a decision really that I do yet, because really what happens afterwards is an actual email. So down at the bottom, you have like certain things that you can add. Documentation is one of them, which I like. But also communication is another one I like. So I like the fact that I can say, okay, let me just say the communication happens. It still gives me the same details that needs to happen, but here I'd put the email as the attachment. Excuse me, and I'm going to also make sure that I add the information accordingly. So let me go into my actual Moxie, and I'm going to fill this out as I would. So Moxie, and then this is really the system. So I don't have anything to do. I'll probably put department as still sales because, and I'll just put system as a tag, because maybe for me it would be useful to kind of see exactly what happens when those things come into play. And then when someone schedules, they get this email. So let me go here and let me add this section here. So that is the email that they get once they come in. Okay, so let's jump now into the reality of how this all works. Where I tend to make longer videos, but I want you to explore it instead of me showing you everything, because come on, this is what you got to do. Now, what I found to be amazing with this is obviously, if there are things that I don't need, I can delete them. And you can see this little preview here, which shows you the overall, process as you go. But here's what really made me feel like this is the tool for me. Not only do they have different features that are just really worth the spend, but they also made it so easy for me for when I'm downloading my actual SOP. When I'm downloading my SOP and I export it, the PDF, and I'm going to show you from my save space here, it actually pulls everything that is coming from the location. I really wish that I could just make this a little bit more bigger because it's not gonna work. But it pulls everything. So it pulls the actual description that I added, the owner, the sales department, the tool. It pulled the link for the actual discovery call, the scheduling tool. It pulled the overall file, even though the file was supposed to be an image. So let me actually go back in and change that from a file to an image and see if it will pull the image as well. You can also reorder these, so you can see that in real time. If I wanted to reorder them, I could. And let me go ahead and pull one of these, hit save, and let's see if it pulls that. Now, I'm sure that if it does, that's even a greater feature that you can have. But even if it doesn't, I think it still does a great job of making it easy for you to have everything in place all at once. And that's a feature request that I will request so that we can have that feature of even showing images, if possible, on the spreadsheet. The checklist items, like I said, just makes it easier. And then the lanes makes it so much easier as well. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about this tool, feel free to reach out to them. They do have a support link as well as they have a direct email. And then the other thing that I wanted to show as well, which I found to be really cool, is their ability to have feature requests and roadmap. So at their roadmap, they're working on some team spaces, which is plan, the bulk ability to do exports, and they've already done the Google authorization, which is great. So if you wanted to make a request, you can see the request here. I did a test just to see if they declined it. But let's say that I wanted to add image preview on export. And then let me go ahead and submit. So now it's submitted for approval, which is really cool. And what I like though is that really and truly, it just gives me the ability to feel like things are moving along. I can also go back to my dashboard here and it just makes it easier. Again, hyperlinking and clicking into this. And when I'm done, I can always change this to active, or I can change this to archive. I can change the tags and things of that nature. And I'll call this onboarding as a tag. And then also what I did find to be cool was that you can search nodes. I don't really know how best this works, but I don't know if it goes into like um I guess it looks up keywords. So I don't know what keywords it looks up specifically. Let me see if it finds like certain words. It doesn't. So I think it looks at certain keywords like sales or communication. So it's specifically looking up what's already printed here. Let's see if I look at first. Yeah. So it's looking at stuff that are displayed, not actually in the context. And maybe that's another feature request that can be requested to make it easier. But I love the version history. I love the fact that you are able to import and export. I haven't tested those completely yet. But you can also give a description as to what this is for. And then on my dashboard, I can actually see what's active, what department they're in. And then the sharing feature is also cool. I'll show you that. So when you hit share, you have a public view link that you can share. And I'm going to share this in an incognito screen. What I like about this is that immediately they can see anything that you've shared. I don't know if you guys can see my share screen. So let me actually do it from this side because I don't know if you can see it. Okay. So from this, you can immediately see exactly what's shared. They cannot see anything else though. And you would have to comment. And in order to comment, you have to click on an actual node. I'm also logged in, so it doesn't show me. Let me log out. There we go. So you can actually see the sign up for free button and it takes you back here. And then you would be able to comment. It could be another feature request if you guys wanted to share the actual information in it as well, like to see the information, like what level do you get to see based on the share view. So pretty cool. I'm excited to use this and test this out even more. I would say at least go and sign up for the free version because the free version makes it easy for you to just test it out and leave some feedback and comments. And I look forward to those things. Who would I be if I did not shamelessly just do a plug in for what I do? Because a lot of you know me for doing SweetDash videos, but I do a lot more than that. I actually help with broken systems. And what that means is that we help to build your systems, keep your operations going, and just help build out SweetDash services. If you want to learn more, go to services on my website. Find what works best for you. We've done a lot of system implementations. We are also systems agnostic, which means that we help to build out systems that are going to help you at any level. We also do operational support, and that just means that we can support you from admin level to a operational backend level. And also the higher tier where we're managing your team. I love building systems. And so because I love to build systems, I always love to implement ones that I do know the most and love the most, which is ClickUp, Moxie, and SuiteDash. But all the other systems are there as well. So if you feel like you want to talk through a system such as FlowOps and how you can optimize your system, please let me know. I look forward to hearing back from you. And thank you again for being here.